You're such an asshole.
Everybody, the old captain here, and you pay me, I'll do it, as long as it's legal and, within reason. Dear Cappy, I found this article trending on Facebook about a man who spent 55 years in college, so he didn't serve in Vietnam. I would like to see you make a reaction video to this article. So he links to this article here, all right? And it's from Vice, and let us provide a caveat about Vice. It's pretty much all lies. I mean, I do not trust this site at all. I had an interview with them one time, and you want to talk about, they could take something, I mean, well, this is not just Vice, but Daily Mail, any tabloid, it's basically a tabloid, and so there may be a seed of truth here, but I'm going to be a little bit skeptical. College advice from a 75-year-old who went to college for 55 years and got 30 degrees. Michael Nicholson is a 75-year-old man who loves college. To date, he has earned 1 bachelor's degree, 2 associate's degrees, 23 master's degrees, 3 specialist degrees, and 1 doctorate. He was enrolled in school for 55 years straight and has 30 degrees in total. Here's his advice to the class of 2020. I get up at 4 a.m. and I walk 2 miles that hour. That doesn't mean everyone has to get up at 4 a.m., but you do have to have some kind of a routine. If you sleep through your morning classes, you'll be running around trying to make up for lost time. So attend class, kids. When I was in seminary school, oh, he's a preacher. Okay, all right. We had to wear shirts and ties and suits. It's not like that anymore. What I see in the classroom of today, frankly, I'm embarrassed. Everyone looks sloppy. They don't know how to dress. When I go to class, I wear khakis. I wear sports shirts. I would not wear a t-shirt. I would not wear Levi's. I would not wear shorts. And I would not wear sandals like all the girls do. 50 and 60 years ago, girls wore shoes and socks, skirts and dresses. They did things with their hair. These days, a lot of eating goes on in class during the lectures. People come in with their lunches, their bottles of pop and water, everything. A whole spread along with their computers. They seem to have a good time. I usually sit in the last row myself, and I can see what they're looking at on their computers. I can see why teachers get frustrated. They're lecturing and giving material out, and the students are looking at their computers, looking at a whole lot of other things at the same time. Back in my time, you didn't fool around. Today, anything goes. Well, you understand, Michael, that in the olden days, there was actual education and these professors had some job stability. Now, trying to sell school to everyone, and everyone going into liberal arts wanting to teach, well, these universities have their choice. They can make the teachers got to shut the fuck up, and they got to make the students happy. Otherwise, the gravy train stops. You still think it's about education, don't you? Oh, you precious old wonderful man. I was in school for 55 years straight. Like I liked it, and I was getting credentials. So in that sense, I was accomplishing something. No, you weren't. If you do not use your credentials for something, then it's pointless. I got used to being in school, and I wanted to keep going as long as I could. The more I learned, the more I wanted to know. I'd love to be in class right now starting this week, but a couple of years ago I got shut down. As one doctor told me, you're getting old. I'm trying to adjust to that, I guess. Well, I don't know why you can't still go to college. If you want to pay exorbitant prices for shit you can learn online for free. I wasn't sure what I was going to do with my life when I first took my college course, but I had general ideas about what I needed to know. I went to Detroit Bible College, and every year the president of the college gives students a message entitled, "Don't Quit Too Soon." He was trying to keep us all in school until we graduated. That would be my message to any young folks. Don't quit too soon. I'm telling you kids, if you're not in STEM or IT, get the fuck out now. You can't quit too soon. It doesn't really matter what you study, sure. Okay, old man. But you should study something that truly interests you. Otherwise, you'll probably drop it along the way. The important thing is to get a degree. Can we find an old, outdated, and out-of-touch relic more than this guy? I'm sure back in 1847, when college costed a half cent and you could pay it with 3 coppers, maybe that was an issue. But times have changed a little bit there, Michael. Then you have the option of going to graduate school. Or you can start a career that has nothing to do with your major. Like my wife, she's educated as a teacher. She did some teaching along the way, but for the last 37 years, she's been working in data processing. Well, imagine that. I wonder if you guys could have bought a house with all that. Although 37 years ago, college was probably nothing expensive. I met my wife when I was at Bible college. Then I went away to Dallas to seminary for 3 years. While she was up in Detroit going to school, we wrote letters and there was the occasional phone call. We were married between my third and fourth year. Seminary was my favorite degree program. That's where I really learned to be a student. I was away from home on my own. I had to produce good work to be able to go home with some self-respect. That meant I couldn't leave my assignments to the night before. This is such old stuff. This is common sense. And I love how Vice just writes it, thinking like this is newfound wisdom. I mean, is Gen X the bridge generation that took the advice from like at least the World War II generation and the regurgitated advice that our baby boomer parents gave us, even though they probably didn't believe it, and we got to tell you millennials it because it was lost along the way? Oh, I had to start 3 weeks in advance. It made a student out of me. I didn't get along with my roommate. He was very expressive, very emotional. I've always been a quiet person. He always had a lot to say about a lot of different things, but he showed me a lot of good things. He had been there for 2 years before me, so he passed off some of his books to me, some of his old assignments. Another problem there, Michael, you can't just pass off your old books. You need the 73rd edition, which is 6 months newer than the 72nd edition and costs $300. Don't battle with your roommate if you don't like them. They probably have something they could teach you. It's amazing what you'll learn. How long is this? Jesus. Common Sense 101. It's amazing what you'll learn if you can keep your mouth shut. Most people want to talk. If I listen to people, they actually pay attention, and I ask questions. I don't try to tell them everything I know because they usually know more than I do anyway. You can learn quickly from the other students when you're in a classroom. You can get their views on things, find out where they come from, what their backgrounds are, and what they have to bring to class. And the teacher can talk about his experiences rather than simply feeding you lecture notes on the computer. Well, dude, you know that's all they do now because basically it is the millennials becoming professors now, aren't it? The assistants and the TAs and adjunct professors. That's the purpose of college, after all. To get a job, of course, but also to broaden your horizons, expand your worldview. And of course, you can't do that at the library for free. You learn what's going on in the world, and you can't do that on the air. Like, I don't know what's going on in the world right now because I've been out of college 20 years. Right now, I still think George W. Bush is president. How did the world originate? Where are we? Oh, wait, no, Clinton. Clinton was president. I'm sorry, Clinton was still president when I was in college. And he hasn't gotten out. Who's this Hillary girl? I don't know. You should listen to your professor. Oh, wait, that's the purpose. Where are we headed? What are the interrelations of people on this earth? You should listen to your professors, too. It's the professor's class, so don't look to be challenging him. Oh, I like how he said him and not him or her. Tell this guy's old school. He just triggered a bunch of women right there. But if you strongly disagree, talk to him. For example, in order to graduate with my degree in criminal justice, my 30th degree. Do you have an engineering degree? I mean, did you try a real degree? I had to write a final project of at least 75 pages. Because of my Christian background, I chose faith-based prison ministries as a topic. In my research, I came across some information about a man who turned towards Jesus Christ in prison. This man, I believe, is the person who fired the fatal shot from the grassy knoll during the Kennedy assassination. I visited him in prison on 2 occasions in the past couple of years, and I have 27 letters from him. I had a number of conversations about this with the professor who was supervising my paper. We would talk about the Kennedy assassination. I had to say, my view is that it happened this way. If you come out right and say you're wrong, you don't know what you're talking about, well, you're looking for trouble. But if you tell your professor, here's my view and here's the evidence, I always had some evidence to show him you can at least discuss it. Yeah, right, okay, I don't know what school you're going to, dude. Maybe in the 60s and 70s this was all right. I concluded my paper with a presentation of my view of the Kennedy situation. The killers turned Professor signed it. He was one of 4 PhDs, including one lawyer who signed the paper, even though none of them agreed with me. That's because I made a convincing case. Well, yeah, that's because when professors weren't fucking biased leftist pieces of shit. If he ever sees this, he's not going to be able to get over the cursing because he's religious. I'm not in any debt. All right. I started delivering the Detroit newspaper when I was 11 years old. I kept that same route for 11 years all through college. That's how I got through the first 4 years, delivering newspapers every day of the week. Of course, back then, college didn't cost as much as it does today. But tuition has never been a problem. I had several teaching possessions along the way, and I wrote parking tickets at one university for 11 years. But all the time I was working, I was in school as well. I know the average student debt is $30,000 after 4 years of college. Is it worth it? I don't know. I'm afraid of debt. I never like to owe anybody anything. When you owe somebody something, you're under his or her control. Oh, see, but now he brings out the control of the women. My, what a sexist guy, huh, ladies? Feminists will be all over this. But I don't care what else. But I don't know what else you can do because you can't get jobs you once could. I mean, I worked in a factory for a couple of summers, but you can't just get those factory jobs anymore. So you did it. Of your 30 degrees, economics is not one of them, I imagine. Summer I worked at Chrysler, I just walked in. That was the 1960s. If you want those jobs now, I guess you have to go to China or someplace. I would keep going for more college degrees in my if my physical condition didn't slow me down. So that's my advice. Stay in school, stay in it for as long as you can. Okay, kids, what do you want me to say? Okay, here's what it is. This is like a World War II vet coming and saying, you know what, the best fighter plane we need is a P-51. And he's right. In 1945, that was the best fighter plane you could have, was a P-51. But things might have changed just a little bit in the past 55 years. And here you have this nice, warm, fuzzy, pet the bunny type of article, and oh, how charming this 75-year-old man says to go to school. Look, guys, do you want to take advice from a guy who, you know, here's the thing. This guy earned it. He lived the real world. He's been working the entire time. School is his hobby, okay? And if it's your hobby and you could afford it, it's your passion, fine, go to school if you want, if you could afford it and you're not borrowing any money. But I have a feeling that you millennials and you Gen Xers and you baby boomers are going to go become fucking creative writing master's candidates. You're going to go and you're going to cafeteria Christian. You're going to select what you want to hear in this, and all you're going to hear from this guy is, go to school, any degree is a good degree. You can only learn by going to college. Yeah. And you're just going to go and enslave yourself to the big education machine. When in reality, this is a precious old man. He's not a fool, but he is incredibly naive, dangerously ignorant. I don't say that to be besmirching. I say it because it's true. He is dangerously ignorant. Not necessarily for himself, because he can't fuck it up, and he has fiscal discipline. But he's dangerously ignorant for you kids, daring to give advice to a young propagandist tabloid entity like Vice, where you idiot kids can't tell the difference between this and an article out of the Wall Street Journal. But you know, I don't care. I need my burgers made without cheese. Thank you very much. And I need you millennials to get your masters in puppy, fluffy bunnies or whatever it is you're going to go major in. So there's a slave class to make my stuff cheap. Okay. So please, ladies and gentlemen, listen to this old man. Don't worry if he's out of date. Don't worry. He said the right things that you wanted to hear, and that's all that matters is what you want to hear. Toodles.